Glad you could join us today on EarthFile. Welcome to the program. I'm Ayola Kasim. Our road travel, flight, and shipping account for nearly a quarter of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. And transportation today remains heavily dependent on fossil fuels. The idea behind biofuel is to replace traditional fuels with those made from plant material or other feedstocks that are renewable. Biofuels have been around longer than cars have, but cheaper petrol and diesel have long kept them on the fringe. The spikes in oil prices and now global efforts to stave off the worst effects of climate change have lent new urgency to the search for clean, renewable fuels. Today, we open EarthFile with a story on what has been described as the most important and widely used renewable source of energy, the hydropower. The story shows how an innovator is using water to power his generator. Do stay with us. Emeka Ugweze is cutting a metal sheet to create a base for his latest invention at his workshop in Oka, a town in Nigeria's bustling southeastern state of Anambra. Emeka has created a prototype of a generator powered by water. The electricity it generates can last for over 6 hours, depending on the energy consumption rate of the unit connected to it. He put together the first model in 2001 and has been progressively improving it. Emeka began experimenting with metal and creating a simple lighting and sound systems at the age of 5.
Okay, so we'll just connect. This is a 12-volt 7 amps battery. It's a motorcycle battery, just to start up the machine.
After experiencing a tragic personal loss due to a malfunctioning generator, he started looking for ways to create safer power generating systems. His machines are powered by high-voltage motorcycle batteries with no carbon emissions.
The power actually increases with the more load you input on it. The machine is designed in such a way so that it won't start blowing things off, just like normal generators does. I actually lost a friend to a generator, which actually brought about this, because I wanted to do something that kind of eliminate the use of gasoline generators in the society. So I'm actually an advocate of clean energy and waste management. This is the C12A model of the Mbonwe series machine. What this one actually does is that it transforms trashes, your plastic, nylon, waterproof, and the rest into petroleum products like petrol, kerosene, diesel, and some other heavy oil.
The 25-year-old started off as an automobile engineer, but then trained further in metallurgy at a technical college, specializing in instrumentation and control systems. Emeka has now created over 12 machines that he hopes will solve problems across the environmental, health, and industrial sectors. He has been able to get the components he uses to make his inventions through donations from friends, family, and even strangers.
I usually source my raw materials from waste bins. In fact, I go and get discarded electronic components. At some point, friends do a lot of donating. Like people, you see what I do, you just love what I create. They just, okay, take this, use it to get this at the end of the day. So as things grows on, they keep on happening that way, even from social media. People have not even known me tend to donate some money just to make sure that the dream doesn't die off.
Chika Egbe, Emeka's neighbor, has been using the hydroelectric generator for over a year.
And it's very, very excellent. I'm even begging him to, sell for me, but he said that is not possible now. I'm even waiting for any time that he has produced it on going to the market. That is must. I must even purchase like 5 for myself and my family.
People think that, even some actually tend to dispute that what I'm actually doing is not sustainable, or it doesn't work, or is a lie, I'm trying to connote something. But at the end of the day, you end up seeing that it's actually real. I'm not saying that we arrived there yet. It still has its own flaws.
Nigeria has suffered from decades of chronic blackouts, and it is estimated that about 80 million people don't have access to grid power supply in the country. Most businesses and homes are forced to run on diesel or petrol-powered generators. Experts say there are many resources that are being neglected that can in fact help solve the present energy challenges in the country. Toyin Agbaje likes her kitchen. She's particularly more excited about cooking now because of her new stove, a biogas-powered stove which reduces air pollution and makes life in the kitchen a lot healthier.
The biogas is clean the pot, then fast. If you cook stew in the biogas, it's fast down stove, like normal gas. The biogas fast down normal gas.
The cooking gas used is produced from cow manure by a researcher at the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State.
Here at the cattle section of the Obafemi Awolowo University agric farm, where the university, the agric faculty have their cattle, where they do the research on the cattle, and we are using the manure from the cattle to produce biogas, because what they do with the manure is they just dump the cow manure, the manure from the cow somewhere at the back of the shed here, and the manure decomposes and it releases methane to the environment, which is a greenhouse gas and is not good for the environment. But we are here to use the cow manure as a source of feedstock for our biogas plant, where we use the manure to transform it to biogas, and the biogas can be used for cooking and energy production. So in a way, we are trying to mitigate pollution and indirectly climate change.
Biogas refers to a mixture of gases produced by the decay or fermentation of organic waste like sewage, kitchen waste, animal manure, food scraps, and plant material. When all this organic waste is allowed to decay in the absence of oxygen, methane, carbon dioxide, and some other gases are produced. Methane is the most important of all the produced gases because it is a very valuable fuel. Methane is a popular natural gas that is used for heating, lighting, and cooking purposes in the home. Experts say we produce and waste large volumes of biogas every day without even knowing it. Every time the toilet is flushed after use, or the kitchen dirt is washed down the sink, valuable raw materials needed to produce biogas is being wasted. For ages, cow's excreta traditionally has been used as manure in the fields, but they are also a source of viable energy biogas, which is capable of providing electricity for domestic purposes. One cow can produce over 30 gallons of manure a day. 100 cows can produce about 30,000 gallons of manure. All that manure can be turned into serious energy generation process for powering electrical equipment for various domestic purposes. Cow dung is used in many developing countries for generating energy. It has a lot of potential to reduce carbon footprint. By capturing and storing carbon dioxide from biogas into the ground, the biogas becomes carbon negative and scrubs past carbon dioxide emissions out of the atmosphere. Although the process of producing biogas is an unpleasant one, biogas could be an effective and productive use of waste. It's simply a win-win situation. Abiodun believes that Nigeria has a huge potential for a successful use of biogas because of vast agricultural landscapes, plenteous bio-waste, and perfect weather conditions for the biogas reactors. He wants to increase awareness of biogas and encourage the government to invest in it.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I would say the use of biogas technology, also that biogas technology is not being used in Nigeria. Number one, I would say awareness is very, very key. Education, people are not being enlightened about this. Then also number two, the government readiness, the government policy to encourage people to acquire this, because This in other African countries, we have a lot of programs that support farmers to acquire because it's very expensive. Like other design with other designs that use maybe concrete, they could go as much as 400,000, 500,000 naira, to acquire. But for a rural farmer that that use firewood, that make use of kerosene, if he or she prefers to just buy maybe 100 liters, 100 naira kerosene and use, then you wait for the next day where when you buy another kerosene or so. But with this, what we are trying to do here is to use our local technology. You can see we use the plastic, we modified GP tanks. We are trying to reduce the size and availability, the cost. And for this system, it's about 100,000 naira that for cooking alone. So one of the things that government is not doing is they are not encouraging people that need it, because those people, they are poor people. So nobody want to put down even 100,000 naira as this my same. Nobody want to put down 100,000 naira as at once. But eventually this system can last for like 15 to 20 years. For this type of reactor, cow manure is suitable, is good. Pig manure is suitable and also good. The reason why I said those things are good is because then they don't need what we call pre-treatment, because you don't need to pre-treat them or to reduce them the size or to cut them like the grasses. Grasses also can also be used in this reactor, but you need to grind it a form of pre-treatment before you use. Then also food waste from the household can also be used in this for this type of digester. Then but other biogas technologies or reactors, anything that is biodegradable, human waste, food waste, industrial wastewater, can be used to produce biogas. But in this type of system, the household system, cow manure, pig manure, poultry manure, human waste and food waste are very suitable for that. But generally, biogas reactor, anything biodegradable, we produce, we biodegrade and produce biogas.
There are several different techniques for producing biogas, and several models and designs of biogas machines and plants now exist. Nevertheless, the concept remains simple and the same. The heart of any biogas system or production arrangement is known as a biodigester, or simply a digester. A digester is a sealed and airtight tank or container that behaves like the stomach of a human being. It collects waste or the raw materials and digests it with the help of billions of bacteria. For biogas to be produced, this digestion must happen in the absence of oxygen, scientifically known as anaerobic digestion. The valuable byproduct of this digestion process is methane, the cooking gas that we so desperately need. The methane gas that is produced usually rises and builds up at the top of the digester. A gas pipe is attached to the top of the digester to carry the produced gas back into the house, usually the kitchen, where it is used as fuel for cooking or heating.
The odor is reduced from when you take the manure. The odor is reduced when it gets to the reactor. Reduced up to 90 to 95%. You can see you can hardly smell the manure, except for the fresh one that we have. So for cow dung, there is no much side effect, but you just take care of the gas. You don't let the gas leak so much, especially because we have a component called the hydrogen sulfide in it. So how we remove that, we have a technology to remove that. It's very cheap to remove the hydrogen sulfide. So but when you work with the manure, just wash your hands and very well before doing some other things.
Gas engines require about 0.5 cubic meters of methane per horsepower per hour. Some care must be taken with the lubrication of engines using solely biogas due to the dry nature of the fuel and some residual hydrogen sulfide. The two enormous problems that are increasingly threatening the good life of many nations include the task of waste management and inadequacy of energy supply. A nation's inability to dispose waste and to find enough energy greatly affects living conditions. The problem of fuel scarcity and sewage disposal in Nigeria and many developing countries is alarming. Energy generated from waste is therefore needful, as it will serve the dual purpose of cleaning the environment and providing a cheaper source of energy. In Nigeria, the use of waste from organic matter, though important, has been relegated to the background. There are abundant agricultural residues and municipal solid waste, whose potentials are yet to be fully tapped for energy generation. Experts advise that the possibility of using such waste or biogas production should be explored. The raw materials used in commercial methane generation include plant residues, animal waste, like cow dung and various urban waste which are available in Nigeria. Biogas technology has advantages which include generation of storable energy sources, production of a stabilized residue that can be used as a fertilizer, an energy-efficient means of manufacturing nitrogen-containing fertilizer, a process having the potential for sterilization which can reduce public health hazards from fecal pathogens, and if applied to agricultural residues, a reduction in the transfer of fungal and plant pathogens from one year's crop to the next.
So government should look at, biogas technology for the rural areas, this off-grid thing, and where people in the rural areas can have their own grid, their mini grid, and manage and generate their own electricity, generate their own fertilizer, and they manage it, and it can provide, employment, opportunity. And while we are trying to, calm down on our foreign our foreign exposure in terms of importing equipment for the power industry, where you will use our locally technology and other. So it's a very good source of energy for the rural areas where a community, maybe 500 houses, 100 houses, can have their own system, and they use the biogas for cooking and electricity production because we have the resources. The weather favors this technology because this system works very well in a very good ambient temperature from 30 degrees to 35 degrees, and we can do very well. Like Germany, from this biogas, Germany generates up to 4,000 megawatts from biogas systems. So Nigeria has the potential of generating up to 10,000 megawatts from biogas because we have the resources.
In sub-Saharan Africa, most households rely on traditional cook stoves for cooking, with some 900 million people estimated to rely on traditional cook stoves by 2020. Although the picture in urban areas is different, the number of people reliant on firewood for cooking in rural areas, where consumption is much larger due to lower clean cooking access, hardly changes. Rising incomes produce only a gradual shift in cooking fuels and the technologies used.
Africa having even the largest world population, which is mostly the 13%, but it generates a very low, less than 4% of the electricity, where it covers the whole population in Africa. So why this is happening? Because one is there are certain factors that really impairs. Because first of all, the investment and also the right policy and also the clear and coherent institutional and regulatory framework. When we see, for example, Africa really endowed more than 1,000 gigawatt of the wind resource and the 10,000 gigawatt of solar. And if we see the Great East African Rift Valley, it endows more than 20 gigawatt of geothermal resource. But we see now we are really suffering from power shortage, and particularly nowadays, there is a significant increase of economic growth in Africa, and there is a high demand for energy to go ahead. So the African governments are really looking for having this development of this renewable energy resources, and they are ready to revise their policy and also regulatory framework in order to attract private investment, because all renewable energy requires the intensive, also the investment in terms of public-private partnership and independent power producers.
Smoke from cooking with traditional cook stoves results in 600,000 deaths in the region each year, with an estimated loss of 2.8% of gross domestic product, which includes $29.6 billion in lost productive time spent on fuel gathering and the cooking process. Biogas for cooking can help address these health and economic issues and reduce solid fuel use by 66 to 80%, even though biogas systems have high upfront costs of $500 to $1,500. Lifetime costs are the lowest among cooking technologies.
The price is really affordable, and it should be around 100,000 naira to acquire, and if you have constant source of manure, you are fine for about 20 to 30 years before you can probably need a replacement of the reactor, because the lifetime of the reactor, the lifespan of the reactor is about 50 to 20 years.
Cooking stoves based on biogas and other sustainably produced renewable fuels can greatly improve health and welfare. Over 3 billion people worldwide currently use traditional cook stoves fueled by wood or charcoal. Roughly 50 million biogas cook stoves have been installed worldwide, and the number is growing at about 10% annually. China leads the world in biogas digester installations for cooking, accounting for over half of all installations globally. African countries, specifically sub-Saharan countries, also would stand to benefit from their uptake. Biogas is among the environmental friendliest and cleanest of all cooking technologies and outperforms traditional cook stoves in several ways.
Because this is a renewable source of energy, and we are aware that climate change is it's a very important subject in the global community, and it poses a great threat to the future of our children and into the world, at large. So biogas system or biogas system as a whole, it's a renewable source of energy, which helps to improve the environment, because from where we were coming from the farm, we saw the cow manure lying away and being decomposed, and it emits methane into the atmosphere, and that methane is 21 times potent than carbon dioxide, which is the major greenhouse gas. So the capturing of this methane for use for cooking and electricity production helps to to improve our environment and protect our environment.
Upgrading to biogas from a traditional cook stoves improves indoor air quality, reduces deforestation of otherwise unsustainable sourced fuel wood, reduces cooking time, treats waste that otherwise would rot, and provides organic fertilizer from the digester residue, replacing fossil fuel or traditional biomass fuel sources with biogas furthermore reduces emissions while improving the air quality. Although the combustion of biogas produces similar emissions to LPG, the foregone emissions otherwise resulting from biomass decay result in a better net environmental performance for biogas. In an age of warring climate change and looming fossil energy decline, the benefits of renewable energy are obvious, yet its potential has largely gone untapped, at least here in Nigeria. That's our program for the day. Thank you for watching. We hope to hear from you. Our inbox at file@channelstv.com is always available for your comments and questions. We'll see you next week.